Turbo Tommy's back here with us tonight, and we're starting to figure out what we're going to do, and we're starting to make some plans. We didn't really plan this. We knew we wanted to make a speedrun sled, and we know what that should look like.
Well, I've had it kind of running through my head for a while. As you can see, I do have a speedrun seat, and behind John, I have some little aluminum skis. So that might give it a speedrun stance.
Might lower it to the ground slightly.
Yeah.
We like that idea. It's too tall the way it was.
Yep. And it'll give us a lot of options now on how we set up the suspension.
So probably the biggest challenge we got is we got this stock suspension, and we got to turn it into a speedrun suspension. We aren't going to go spend big money. We love Wall Brothers. We love you guys, but
Lynn Anderson.
Yeah, and Anderson chassis. But this is just a low buck production here today.
The whole concept of the sled the whole time was Digger, the junkyard dog. It's the parts that we've had laying around that most people don't want to use anymore, and we're going to use them and show that they can still be used.
And speaking of be used, the question came up from indie guy Rob. Hey, Rob, shout out.
Hey, Rob.
The question came up, what class are you going to run it in? You want to explain how that works?
I'll have to look. I don't know with Kurt Mohawk, but they do have vintage classes, and they have kind of an open class, and it's 750cc, and so it's less than 800. So I have to look into it a little bit more as the season starts, but it's going to be I think, open vintage.
Is it a class that's going for a record, or is it just like a sportsman fun run class?
It's a fun run class, but NSSR does have records in those classes. So yeah, we'll be running it at little, what they still call them, podunk speed runs, the little backyard ones, but we'll try to get it to NSSR and to Kurt Mohawk, SLSA. And it's going to be whatever class they put me in, because we're just doing it for fun,
Yep. We just want to see how fast it can go.
Yeah, and show that, like I said, these old parts will still work. This engine is antiquated. Some of Marv's other engines were just sold, and people, the guy selling them said, just showpieces or shelf or display. Well, this is the same era, and we're still going to make it work.
Yeah. So Todd Klang wanted to know why we didn't rev it up and wrap the pipes. It's out of gas.
It's out of gas, and I used up most of the gas I had at the hill climbs. I buy it 5 gallons at a time, $10 a gallon. So
yeah. So when we get close, we will find some race gas somewhere, and
I'll go pick up 5 gallons and mix up some Redline oil in it.
But we're not going to give you any test hits on gravel with the speedrun track.
No,
that's just not happening. So you're going to have to wait till we got some ice before you see the thing actually moving. But you will, unless there's no ice this winter, which being an El Nino winter, who knows? Sometimes you get great ice on an El Nino winter because there's no snow on the lakes. Yep. You never know.
Yep.
So, but weather permitting, you'll see it run later on this winter. All right, I was just going to show you guys Tommy's seat. It's not sitting quite right because we still got the hold-down bolts that we got to take out, but that's pretty cool.
Hopefully we end up with a gas tank that Rick Bates built a long time ago that's on an RXL in an undisclosed location. Rick was part of Team Englert.
That's true.
When it started, it was Rich Flaggy, myself, Rick Bates, and Marlon Englert. We were the first 4 members of Team Englert. And Rick Bates did set records in the 440 open mod class.
Well, there you go. So he does really deserve to get into the hall, I think. All his racing and all his other work he's done. All right, back to this. The skid. Yeah, we are going to have to work a miracle on this skid. I mean, that is your typical junkyard pole of a skid. And where'd it come from? Just came from your pile, didn't it, Tommy?
Just out of the pile. We accumulate suspensions at the swap meet all the time. I'm sure you've watched John in the past rolling suspensions back to the trailer and
Yep.
parts and pieces.
Yep. So we're gonna attempt to turn a junkyard skid into a speedrun skid. It's not gonna get the lightweight treatment though. That's out of scope.
It'll be a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
and it'll have lubers. Before it hits the ice, we will have track lubers on it. So
Yep. Yep. We'll show you how we do that too. But speaking of light, these skis I held up, now these are going to save some weight. Those are worthy. But we don't have any wear bars, so we got to make wear bars for those. We're just going to make plain steel bars, no carbide.
Yep.
Tommy, you don't want to run carbide on a speedrun sled, do you?
Nope, they drag.
Yeah.
You aim it.
Yep. All right. So there you go. We'll bring you back when we're actually doing something, I hope. All right, I'm over here doing a couple of the actual speed parts that we're putting on the chassis. Yeah, the motor is truly a speed part as well. But these are the wall no-slip drivers. And Tommy wants to run these so he can run the track really loose. Loose is fast. So I've just got it set up in the press on some press plates. They're kind of offset so that it supports it on the center hub, like right there, but the opposite side of that. And all you do is press them. All right. So I don't know if we're going to set these up in the tunnel or not. I'm feeling pretty good about this. We know both of these shafts are the same length. You can see the splines are the same length. This collar, of course, is the seal collar for a top loader. This came out of an old chain case. But when we butt them up, they're the same length. So the sprocket's in the same way. When I spin them around, same deal. So, I don't know, Tommy, how do you feel? Should we install them in the tunnel and make sure?
We can. Set these center to center and see if they also work there.
That's a good idea.
In case the shafts were a little bit different.
No, they're dead on center to center.
Looks good.
Well, they're within a 1/16 of an inch anyways, and there's that much tolerance in the track.
We can measure the track now.
Yeah.
Check those holes.
Yep, we'll check that out next. But the reason Tommy went from the 8s to the 9s is obviously, it's going to help him with gearing. He's going to have to gear this fairly tall for what he's going to try to do. And second, the larger diameter wheels should have less rolling resistance at high speeds. Hey, Lonnie showed up.
Yup.
Everybody better get in on it. I just did mine. So we're sticking the bumper back on temporarily so that we got a handle to hold the back of the sled up. We are going to shove that drive shaft in there and make sure everything's centered up the way we want it. And without a back bumper, well, that's a pain in the butt. But this bumper is going to come off and get sandblasted and cleaned up and repainted because, well, that's what Tommy does, right, Tommy?
Yep. Or Dennis.
Or Dennis. I have yet to see Dennis sandblast and repaint anything.
I haven't seen that either.
Dennis will degrease, though. He's the degreasing expert. All right, so we're going to find out. We do have a chain case in there. Oh! Guess what, Tommy? We got to pull your chain case out with these wall drivers.
I can do that.
Just like 4-wide Polaris drivers.
Thinking they ain't going to fit.
Dang it. All right, we paused Jamie Johnson, which is what we're listening to tonight. And why doesn't that go? There it goes. All right, now you can put your chain case back on, Tommy. And once we bolt that down, we'll slide this thing over and measure it up and make sure we like it. All right, we're taking a little measurement. I'm going to go to the inside, right on the edge of that machining there. And it is just a hair over 3 7/8, almost 3 15/16. And if I come over here to this side, it is just shy of 4 inches. It is less than a 1/16 off center, which is fine. There's more than that much tolerance in the track and the side-to-side slop. That's all good. But now we're going to pull it out again. And we're going to make sure that the spacing's right this way. I mean, we already compared it to the old drivers. We know it's a normal 121. It should be fine, but we're going to check it. All right, so we're over here at this extremely spiky looking track, and, well, the windows are plenty wide. Here, Lon, you want to hold the camera? I'm going to risk life and limb with these razor sharp spikes and unfold this track a little bit. And let's see how we're centered here. Oh, look at that. It's got at least 3/8, if not a half a end play. We're good. We're good. Yay. Done with the drive shaft, ready to go. You're seeing this before the outro, but it's filmed after. Tommy's already left. And Lonnie and I are looking at the jack shaft here. Show them the sliding. Look at this.
How much throw that has.
Good Lord. So we're going to shim it or cut new snap ring grooves or something to keep that brake rotor from walking side to side.
Maybe a spacer.
Yeah, maybe spacers. I favor spacers. That's what I've always used.
Yeah.
We're going to do something. So there's another speed secret for you. I mean,
just got to get it centered and keep it centered.
Yeah, Tommy's got this plan of prying the caliper open for more speed. Well, it's not going to do any good if the rotor walks right over into the pad again.
Exactly. Yeah.
So one more thing. Tommy doesn't even know. You know when Tommy's going to find out? When he sees this video.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy's coming back on Saturday to help with the Gemini or Colt or whatever it is now. And we're not going to say anything to him. We're going to see if he notices. And if he doesn't, well, when this video comes out, then he'll find out, assuming he watches. So Lonnie just pulled off the old, the rotor and everything.
Rotor of key.
And then you just throw a bunch of 1-inch machinery bushings in there. And we might have to grind on the woodruff key, or we'll probably grind on the woodruff key. It's easier than filing a slot and a bushing. But here we go. We'll bring you back when we're done. All right, so I just did a little grinding on this key, just shorten it up a little, and drop it in. That's all happy. We got 3 14-gauge shims to the inside. Yep. And go ahead and put her together, Lonnie. All right, we got a little bit of room on the outside.
Yeah.
We got 2 more 14-gauge, and we can get the snap ring on. Yeah, there'll be just a little room.
Just a slight amount of walk to it, but definitely not what it had before.
Oh, well, we took out damn near a 1/2 inch before, over 3/8, which everybody watching the video knows. There we go. We got just a little wobble, but now the thing can't walk in and out,
Yeah.
a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Perfect.
Don't tell Tommy. All right, just a short one tonight. We're just measuring, we're figuring stuff, little light assembly. We're getting ready to, do the big work on the skid. That's probably the biggest part of the project, isn't it?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah. So we're starting to figure out what we're doing there. And, I don't know, get stuff cleaned up. There isn't much to clean. Tommy's more of a neat freak than Details is, to be honest with you.
Actually, I do a lot of sandblasting and painting midnight blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sled didn't show up dirty, so, All right, so anyways, huge thanks to the patrons. You guys are the best. Welcome to the new patrons. What day is it that we're filming today?
It's the
I've got to look at my phone.
9th.
The 9th of November, so if you joined before then, your name's up there now. I added you in before I edited. If you joined after, there's a delay on the video. You'll get in on the next one. So, or the one after that, depending on how long the delay is. So anyways, huge thanks to the patrons. For everybody else, if you go there, there's 2 membership tiers. There's the beer and spark plugs. There's the pizza and parts, right? Those are the 2 tiers that are the real membership tiers that get your name up here on the screen. I know Patreon put up some stupid button that says free membership. There is no such thing as a free membership. I don't know where that came from. And just because you clicked that button and didn't didn't support the channel in any way doesn't get your name up there. Sorry about that. If you did that, I hope you'll go back and actually support the channel. I'm sure that was your intention in the first place.
One would think so.
Yeah, Patreon did not ask me if they could put that button. They just did that. So anyways, everybody else, I appreciate your support. Thanks for hitting subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. I've got more indications that YouTube is unsubscribing people without them knowing. So please go ahead and do that. Hit the notification bell, and we'll see you at the speed runs.
Yeah, it's the speed runs.